Welcome to Sebastian practice session number 56. Every week we practice our motorcycle slow speed operation here in Sebastian, Florida. It is open to everyone in the community to work on their own slow speed motorcycle operation skills. We practice the 9 exercises in Robert Simmons' Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle curriculum, where we come out, support each other, have a great time, and just get a little bit better with every practice session. Here we go.
Saturday morning right after Thanksgiving on November 30th, and we've got more riders here, so we're going to say hello. Hi, I'm Lori.
Tyler.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Will, Lori. Okay, and that's Mike, and the tall guy's Mike and Rich.
Mike and Rich.
So we practice every Saturday, and we just added Wednesdays because the weather's cooler now.
Yeah.
Much cooler.
Nice.
Mike, morning. Will, good to meet you, sir.
Tyler,
my pleasure.
Well, we're glad to have you here. We do 9 exercises every week, so we work on the same exercises, but as you start to get better at them, we kind of level them up. Okay. So you can do harder versions of each exercise if you want.
Excellent.
But we just kind of like to do this to raise awareness, obviously, for safer, more controlled riding.
Yeah.
So anytime you're stretching yourself in the parking lot and then you go ride, it's so much easier to ride on the road, but you're also a little bit more capable of handling a situation that you're not expecting.
The biggest, and I've heard this, and it was especially Be the Boss of Your Own Motorcycle YouTube channel. It's easy to ride in a straight line, but slow speed maneuvering is where 90% of riders make their mistakes.
Right, and that's where the accidents happen.
Yeah.
So, I hope that more people come out and do this because it's fun.
Yeah.
And it just helps people be safer on the road, I think. So we're at practice session number 56. It's after Thanksgiving. It's a little brisk out, and we have some more people showed up. Tyler and Will showed up on their off-roading bikes. So they've got those adventure bikes. That's going to be fun. They're familiar with Robert's channel, Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. So we're going to see how they do. And of course we have myself and Rich and Mike and Mike. So we have 2 mics, Will, Tyler, myself, and Rich. And we're going to get started. Come on out and practice with us. Things are picking up. It's good weather to practice in too. So we've added in Wednesdays, and now we have Saturdays and Wednesdays. So no excuses. During the week, on the weekend, there's time to practice.
We start every practice session with the same exercises. We're starting with the most basic and working our way up. Exercise 1, exercise 2 follows exercise 1 because exercise 2 requires what we learned in exercise 1, and so on and so forth. Exercise 3, in order to do that effectively, you really have to be comfortable with the exercises 1 and 2.
So we're on exercise 1. This is smooth stops and smooth starts.
So here we're focusing on proper throttle control, proper clutch control. So see how the foot goes up when she takes off and nice and gently down, working on slow speed control of the motorcycle. It's the throttle, keeping it loaded. The clutch control, if you can focus on her clutch hand, is just in the friction zone, just enough to give it power to move forward.
So we stop with our front wheel at the cone.
So here's Mike. Mike is from Vero Beach on his former in-service police BMW 1200. Mike is excellent at slow speed operation, very smooth. Mike is a regular attendee to our practices, and as with all of us who practice regularly, there's always something that we're working on. We may get, very comfortable or very good with certain elements of these exercises, and yet there's always something that we're working on. This is Rich. Rich is the most consistent attendee to our practice sessions. Rich lives locally on his Harley Davidson Fat Boy. Rich is not only excellent, but he is also tremendously improved. Here's an example of a guy who's been riding for years and years, many years, on a dirt bike, then on a street bike. People just don't practice these things. So at first when he came out, he wasn't as good as he is now at it, which is very good. This is the first time we've met Tyler, first practice session for Tyler, although he does follow to be the boss of your motorcycle. Practice session videos. Tyler was very good for his first time out.
Yep. You immediately know who's been practicing. Really great. Wow.
Easy on the throttle, nice and slow.
Nice.
Needing some correction in the handlebars, which is what you want. And here's Will. Also first time we've met Will on this 250 Enduro, what we used to call Enduro. I don't know if that's what you call them anymore. And here's me riding my 2017 Ultra Classic named Fred.
Ooh, that was wobbly.
The most basic things is what we start with. Basic throttle, basic clutch control. Just getting mastery of these fine-tunements on how to go really slow on a bike. Anybody can go fast on a bike. We're working on getting good at going slow.
This is exercise 2, the slow ride.
In this exercise, we're putting to use what we learned in exercise 1, which is that load it and keep it loaded, throttle at the right point in order to just give enough sufficient power to the rear wheel, and the clutch control. Except for this time, what we're doing is working just with that clutch control. We're not using any brake, we're not using any rear brake. It's just that clutch control in and out of the friction zone to keep us moving, practicing on how to go slow on a motorcycle. And again, the idea here is holding that clutch. The throttle is constant, no rear brake, and we're holding that clutch at the friction point, kind of in and out of the friction point. At this point, on our particular course, there's a little bit of downhill. So you got to lay off the clutch a little bit because you don't want to go too fast. Then when you're working uphill, working a little more clutch. Excellent basic practice. It may look remedial or simple, but you wouldn't believe the amount of quote-unquote seasoned riders that have a really, really difficult time with this. These are the building blocks of functional slow-speed motorcycle operation. Throttle's not going crazy. Clutch is in and just in and out enough of that friction zone to keep that motorcycle moving forward. You actually want to be going slow enough so that you need to correct with your handlebars. If you're not correcting with your handlebars, you're going too fast.
And Will, you want to wait till he's done? Okay.
Now, embarrassingly, I just met these two guys, Will and Tyler, and I got their names wrong for the first half of the practice session. I was calling Tyler Will and Will Tyler. Sorry. A little embarrassing.
There you go.
What are you going to do?
Nice job. Really nice, Will. So the thing to think about from slow stops and starts is, you remember all the training that Robert does on leaving the clutch in the friction zone, not pulling it all the way in or all the way out. So you're in the, wherever your friction zone is, wherever it starts to grab, that's where we kind of like a little bit before and a little bit after is where we want to live. As soon as you pull the clutch all the way in, that now it's just, you're reliant on force, right? Centrifugal force. So it's something to practice on. That's the yeah. So this particular exercise we use, don't use the rear brake, and we're just allowing that clutch. So you're just in and out, in and out, in and out, just enough to pull you along. You want to be going slow enough. We're actually having to correct a little bit, as you saw Will do with his handlebars, like that kind of slow. So just practicing it going slow, right? Does that make sense? Ideally, you would just, as Robert says, load it and keep it loaded. So you keep a little RPMs going, and then you just sort of, but you can let the throttle on and off. Like you don't want to be jamming it, right? But yeah, yep, absolutely. Give that a shot. Nice. Try not to pull that clutch all the way in, but nice. Yeah, looks good. Nice and slow. Yep. There you go. That's it. I see that right there. Yeah, that's good. All right, Tyler. Nice job.
Again, same approach. Getting that clutch right, keeping those handlebars moving. Trying to keep Fred pointed in the right direction, eyes forward, always looking ahead, not looking down. That's a particular challenge that I have. The head and eyes. So everyone's got something they're working on. That's one thing I'm working on.
Good. Exercise 3, we cut first gear, cover the rear brake, bring the throttle up to preload, put the clutch right before the friction zone. Mike's gonna say foot up, and then I'm gonna let the clutch out to go to a smooth stop.
Foot up! Totally moving. So you want to, hold on. You were totally moving.
I was?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I didn't say it at first.
Okay.
Foot up!
So again,
Look great.
working
Look
with
great.
the rules of slow speed operation. So we're making sure the bike is in first gear. We're covering the rear brake. We're loading the throttle and keeping it loaded.
Wait for the foot
And then
up.
we're getting the clutch just at the
Okay, I'm gonna
friction
say foot up.
point.
When I say
This
foot up,
particular
Mike
exercise
missed that part.
is
So,
working into
get it all
our
set
muscle
and ready.
memory, our habits, right? Our subconscious thinking.
Foot up!
That
Nice.
letting the clutch
Nice.
out
Beautiful.
brings the motorcycle to stand up. It gives us power, and it allows us to maintain control of the motorcycle.
You want to explain
A
this?
lot of times the habits here are pull the clutch, put your feet down, slam on the brakes, and a lot of times in slow speed operations, that's where you see
Foot up!
people dropping their motorcycle.
Nice.
Good job. Tyler says he practices that one all the time.
Great. Sorry, I got your guys' names backwards. My bad. I apologize.
Let's start. Put my foot up before I go.
Yeah, you want to explain it?
Yeah, so don't do anything yet. I'll just explain. So you're in first gear, you're covering the rear brake, you're gonna bring your preload up to about 2,000. And then you're gonna find your friction point where it grabs and go keep it open just before that. So you're right before the grab. Okay, when he sees that and you're ready, you nod, and then he's gonna just say foot up. You wait till he says foot up, you put your foot up, then you let the clutch out when you start to feel the tip. And then go to a smooth stop. So it's you kind of already do this when you're adventure riding anyway, so it's probably not going to be a big deal.
So just take off, but I put my foot up first.
You put your foot up while you're not moving.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then as the bike starts to lean,
Then
you
go.
let the clutch out. So
Okay.
it's ingrained in your brain to let the clutch out rather than put your foot down when you
Okay.
feel the tip.
So just kind of like that.
Yeah.
That bike just stays there. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
just
funny.
like that.
That's that.
That's awesome.
You got this, Will.
And
Yeah.
then just go, yeah. What up? Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll get it.
Yeah.
Tyler taking another run at it. Very good. It's a really excellent exercise. This is the one exercise that Robert teaches out of the 9 where he says do not do this on the road.
So you don't have to go far. You're just going to go a few feet and then stop smoothly. But you got it. Yeah. Just let me know when you're ready with your throttle. You ready? Foot up.
Yeah, we'll pick this right up. He picked it up quickly.
Perfect.
First gear, rear brake.
Foot up.
Excellent practice. Harder than it looks, I'll tell you that.
Awesome.
Exercise 4 is left and right turns. These are 90-degree turns. I believe a 6-foot gate and 7-foot lane across. So this is the exercise of the 4 with the highest failure rate, what Robert calls failure rate, which typically means dropping your bike or kind of riding out of the exercise. The reason for that is, again, we're using what we learned in exercises 1, 2, and 3, particularly 3, when we are at the kind of the apex of the turn and we start to feel, as Robert describes it, which is like that pucker feeling when the bike's about ready to fall. And what do? Do you pull the clutch and slam the brake, put your feet down, and hope for the best, and then the bike falls, because no one can hold up an 800-pound bike? Or do you release the clutch, let the clutch out, and let the bike pull you through sufficient power to the rear wheel, pull you out of that feeling? So since nobody watches these videos with the intention to just be entertained due to the rich plot line, this is a practice video. So what I thought I would do is just talk about each particular move and what there is to improve on, and what we're thinking about and what we're working on. So this is me making a left, of course, and what there is here is I'm off too far. I waited too long to make the turn. So if I would have started that turn a little earlier, I would have been right down the middle. It was pretty good. Here's Rich. So his head and eyes are over. Head and eyes are great. He makes the turn early. See, his rear tire is right about in the middle. That's a really, really good turn. The idea is, what we learned in 1 and 2, is you have to maintain that sufficient power to the rear wheel. You have to maintain that throttle, load it and keep it loaded, and that clutch friction point, so the bike essentially can have power as you're turning. Tyler here is fairly new to this exercise, and there it is right there. He had a hard time keeping it loaded. So when you don't keep it loaded, it feels like it's going to fall, and you want to put your foot down. Lori, head and eyes okay. Now Lori is working on a couple of different things. She's working on hugging that inside cone, so you really got to take a long time to get around it. And that's just an additional kind of a level up challenge. I'm running my front tire across the line a little bit, which is also a level up challenge. I could have started that turn earlier. That's a pretty good turn, but almost down the middle. I could have started that earlier and got going in the middle a little bit better. So Rich is moving forward. Makes it a little more difficult. You really got to get into that turn quickly. Yeah, Rich is having a little trouble with his clutch. He just got a new clutch in, and the grab is a little different than he's used to, so giving him some trouble. Mike, head and eyes are really good. Waited too long to start that turn. That's a thing that Mike's working on in just about every exercise, is waiting a little bit too long to get into the turn. U-turns or the figure eights, all the same. See, leaning. What we're imagining here when we're doing this exercise is that we're on a soft, very soft dirt road or dirt surface.
I'm still working on
So no amount of leaning, no amount of digging in that front tire is desired, because that will result in the front tire going out on us and us falling down. So we're really working on the body of the bike, if you will, straight up and down. Proper loading, straight up and down. Laura's struggling a little bit. She's only struggling because she's trying a level up, and it's hard to see from this angle, but she's really hugging that inside cone. That's a tough one. Everybody's working on something.
So I can't get the inside cone one. So I'm trying to stay close to the cone and go right around it, and I can't get that.
Got to get that
Right,
cone just
so
right.
I have to be able to keep myself going slow enough, upright enough, and make that turn. So that's what I'm working on, but I'm not very good at it.
I think I'm working on brakeless here.
Okay, no brake.
If I put your foot down,
Yes.
okay. Right stop, and then
Yeah, right. You want to stop.
So this
and
is
you
a
wanna
little
do
bit
it from a stop.
a little bit tougher. I have a hard time with no brake because I use the brake to slow me down. That one I made it inside the lane, but a little something to work on. Just a
Brake
little
sure
bit more
helps.
clutch control. When you're using no rear brake, you really need to start slowly. You can't have too much speed. Never do we want to allow speed or force to push us through the turn. Okay, right turns. All the rules are the same, just a right turn. It's funny how different lefts and rights can be for all of us riders. I have a much easier time with lefts than rights. Rich here likes rights better than lefts. Look at that. Just perfect right down the middle. The lean, Will is leaning a little bit. He's got to work on a little bit of clutch control there. Too hot on the clutch and it takes off too fast for him. Mike waited a little too long and he got onto the far side of the lane there. Think of oncoming traffic. You're taking a right turn and just on the other side of that is traffic that's oncoming. So you don't want to be hugging that center line. Rights are tougher for me. I have a harder time with rights. I'm not sure why, but I do. So I got to bring it over to the center a little bit. Just be patient. That's a little pressure on the rear brake, a little bit in the friction point of the clutch, and that bike holds right up for us. So again, Lori's really trying to hug that inside cone. Robert has us do that, us meaning just Lori and I at practices or any of the other ambassadors, just to give us a little bit of an extra challenge, and it's all good. It's all in the spirit of improvement. But Lori is committed to excellence, so she continues to work on that in practice. The thing when we're starting these turns is the body positioning, where your body is matters. Sometimes when we're taking a right turn, you get the body over to the left and it kind of pulls you to the left. I really watch that. See, Rich is hopping that brake a little bit. See that jumping? So it took him a little bit long to kind of get into the motion of the turn, and that got him a little bit wide. Right, so Will's got to work on straight up and down. A little less clutch. So again, Mike's too long in the turn. He brought it back. He needs to start that turn a little earlier. Tyler again does a nice job, a little too high on the turn. So I'm cheating forward a little bit, just make it a little bit harder. You really got to get into that turn quickly. I'm a little wide on that. I should have just locked my handlebars to the right quicker. It got that straightened out right down the middle. I was too wide on that. See, Lori's already turning. She likes to turn her handlebars early, maybe halfway to full lock. It really does help.
Wow, really great.
Really nice one there. Rich is heading eye. See, he's looking over at the camera. Oh, so his body got a little bit left, and as soon as you start to move, if your body's too far left, that thing will want to go left. So he just kind of went with that, let the clutch out, did a little trust and believe, and took off. Again, Will with the lean, he's just got to pull back on that clutch engagement point a little bit. We're not launching, we're just moving slowly under full control into the lane, into a right-hand turn here. Very nice stop. He's out, nice full lock.
Nice. Wow,
That looks really good.
really good.
Beautifully done by Tyler. I think I was trying to break this there. I don't even know what happened. I just couldn't start the turn. I think that was also brakeless. It's a nice one. A little bit wide.
That'll be fun to watch. Wow, you're doing great. Jeez. You guys are both awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys are doing awesome. The single serpentine, so it's just going wide and like rocking the bike underneath you. So that's going to be kind of fun for you guys. Just want to stay in the friction zone. So the whole point is to stay in the friction, not do it through with centrifugal force.
The exercises, this is where the newer person, not you guys, would want to have to get used to doing this. Because a lot of people don't like to do that at all, right? This is scary to lean. It's pretty good. He's only been riding like
So this is exercise 5, the single serpentine. This is the first exercise where we introduce leaning. So we really want to see some leaning, as Lori pointed out, was sharing with our new people, Tyler and Will. This is the first time we're trying to get that bike side to side. Again, not to be redundant, but everything we used up to this point, we learned in exercise 1, 2, 3, and 4, is used here. We're staying at that friction point, as Lori said earlier. We're maintaining proper throttle. We're loading it and keeping it loaded. I'm not interested in coasting through this and just making it around the cones. That's not the exercise. So Will's got a good thing going. He's got that little tiny bike. Now here is U-turns. So we're into the U-turns. As you can see, the big orange cones side to side are 27 feet. The orange cone to the little green ones are 18 feet. So what we're really after is about a 24-foot, nice, smooth U-turn. Most country roads, country two-lane roads, are 24 feet. So we really like some practical application there to be able to do a nice 24-foot U-turn, head and eyes left as we're making that turn. So again, just like with lefts and rights, I'll talk about what there is to improve on here, and so what we're thinking, so the viewer can better understand what's going on in the heads and minds of these riders and what we're trying to do. What it may look like the thing is happening okay, but it may not be what we intended to happen here. So again, Will is on a 250cc, really a dirt bike. He's flipping that thing around. Nice kid, learning how to operate that bike. Here's Lori. Lori's very good, head and eyes left. Nice U-turn, nice and smooth. Again, you want to start that turn immediately and just imagine a nice, even U shape as we come around. What is Mike always working on? Head and eyes. If I have to hear that one more time from someone else, I may just bust. But it's of my own creation. There's Mike with his excellent head and eyes. Never turn or never stop with your wheels turned. Your front wheel turned, you never stop like that. Here's Tyler working on some counter sitting. See how he's doing that? See, what Tyler's missing here is loading it and keeping it loaded. He doesn't feel confident that that thing's not going to fall over if he doesn't swoop the turn. Will as well. So Will just needs to work on a little friction points. See, he's just trying to get it around, doing some trick stuff there. Oh, good. Now we're going to rights. Mike does a nice job with counter sitting, head and eyes, nice turn. If he started that turn earlier, he'd have even more room on the far side. Rich generally is really good with the 18s. He's just having a hard time with that clutch, so it's making him a little nervous. See, I'm trying to get over to the left. Do you see that? My right-hand U-turns are weak for me, so I'm really having to practice that. Tyler does a nice job there. Will's working on his counter sitting. He really wants to hang it off to the left. Get that moving. So then as a part of our exercise, we stop, and then we do the U-turn from a stop. The figure eight. The figure eight incorporates, of course, all the exercises prior, but really what this is U-turn right, U-turn left, back to back. And the key to this exercise, we're just learning, the focus of this exercise is transitions. So she's transitioning to the right, holding that turn all the way around. So the hold, then transition left. So transition speed is a big deal in this exercise. It took me a really long time to get any kind of transition speed. I'm still quite slow at this. Lori does a really nice job. Very smooth. You have a lot more real estate here than she's using for the newer rider, we always encourage them to use all of it. We say using all the real estate. Rich excels at this one, holding that line. Transition speed. Hold it, transition. Nice job. He's really, on this one, he's got the bike down to the max lean angle most of the time. He's rubbing the boards a little bit. That's not the goal. It's just an advanced warning indicator that he's just about got it leaned as far as he can, given the speed and the turn of the handlebar that he's using. That's just a little bit of a level up drill that Robert has us do that Rich is trying. Actually, Rich is better than any of us at it. To try to get the bike to come to a full stop without putting your foot down, then taking off again, is a challenge.
It's just a level up rather than just do it.
So did you see that Mike took way early his left turn? So Mike's really working on wheel placement using all of the real estate. Very good at this exercise. It's just wheel placement. Again, starting into that turn at the right time. Mike's head and eyes is always really, really good.
You can go as many times as you want.
Mike trying to stop and go. That BMW has so much more lean angle than Mike ever uses, which is fine. Mike does a nice job. Practical applications there. Will just wasn't paying attention. He just got going the wrong way. He's all messed up. That's all right. He gets it. He gets it eventually.
Yeah.
So again, this is Tyler's first time trying this on his Harley Davidson Pan America.
Power.
A beautiful bike, but he just wants to work on keeping it loaded. It's the idle is way too low, so the bike it's not holding any power. There's not any power to the rear wheel, let alone sufficient. So he's just kind of working on coasting through it, and then the clutch kind of goes in and out, and there's not enough power. So he does nicely, like he's making the movement, but the exercise is to work on transitions and maintain that proper throttle and clutch relationship. A little bit of rear brake just for control. So Lori's goal is 2 parking spaces wide, which is about 19 feet. The parking place is about 9.5. Inside of the white to the inside of the white is about 9.5. So really nice. Hold it. You're rubbing the boards a little bit, so he knows that's about all there is in terms of lean angle at that speed. Rich way inside the two parking space target there. See, he didn't hold it long enough. See that? So he wants to hold it along that white line and then transition right at the end. So he's transitioning a little early. That's what gets him wide there. See that? Now he went way too early. He's all messed up. There, he's got it back. See, he starts that transition way too early when he gets into his lefts there. Now he's going to hold it up. Stop and go.
I just moved it different angles. But
See, it's uneven the way Mike's doing it. So he wants to work on wheel placement, balance in both directions.
so Will, just for the practice of this, you can do it in crazy short distance, but just for this, as Robert says, use all the real estate. See how he's doing that? So the idea is you come in and you go right, and you stay to the right, and then you do a left-hander, and you stay on the line, like hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Then you transition, come around, stay on the line, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
So I go right to then do a left turn?
Yeah, you initially come through the gates and go to that corner, then you do the left, and you stay on the line and you go straight. So this one teaches us transitions, right? That's really what it's about. So give that a try.
Whoops. Will got stuck in that a little bit. Nice, hold it to the corner using all the real estate. Needs to stay on that white line until the last minute. So a little early on that. You get the idea. Stay on the white line, hold it, hold it. So way early on that one. That's the discipline, is learning to do that transition on time. So he's early in that transition. He's really good at the turns, at the leaning the bike and getting sharp turns. So he still has plenty of room. But again, the exercise is to hold it. For those keeping score at home, hold it on that line. Okay, here's Fred. What I work with here is speed. This is not a speed exercise, but it always feels like I'm going a little too slow, a little too clunky. So I'm looking for that balance between the proper clutch friction point, proper point of power, and the rear brake. I don't want to have too much rear brake. It always feels like I'm going a little slow here.
Kind of a little bit too slow there.
I'm okay with the tight turn, so I make up the real estate, but I want to hold that, snap that transition. I want to snap that transition faster. That's what I need to work on this
holding
one.
it up, part of it. Because Fred's clutch is having a little trouble.
Really getting it around. Trying to hold it up, a little stop and go.
I lied. Couldn't help it.
Again, Rich, got to hold that line. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. That was better. That was way better, yeah.
One thing to think about as you're doing that is the objective is to try to keep that throttle as steady as possible. Like you're getting some force through the turn, and then I hear no power, and then I hear you kind of letting up, and then you're in it, and then you're out of it. You can do it that way. I mean, you're doing great. You're awesome. But if you can, that's the same thing with your U-turns. Is when you get to that point where you want to put your foot down, I don't have enough power. Not enough power. So it's just a little bit of that three-way, that trifecta, a little rear brake drag, kind of a little more into the clutch friction zone, like letting it out just a little bit more with that throttle, and you won't feel like it wants to do that. Just something to think about.
Yeah.
Little tips.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is like getting out of that.
It's a lot to remember.
That free mode.
Yeah.
Then like you said, when the bike comes up, I don't have enough power.
Right.
Then I'm having a problem.
Yeah. So that's the left and right turns exercise where you got the power. That's actually trust and believe. Because if you start to kind of let it go, like if it starts to feel like it's going to go, that teaches you to let the clutch out instead of put your foot down, you know?
Yeah.
But also this too, where you see the really good ones just have a nice throttle, and the things, they're just moving themselves around with their clutch friction zone. You know what I mean? Something to think about.
Take a wider
I mean,
turn.
you're doing awesome, don't get me wrong, just a little tip.
Yeah, I'll take off.
Yeah,
There you go.
right on, right on.
So another bit of a level up is to go 2 bikes through the figure 8. No different, not really. It's just a mental thing to make sure that you're executing the move because you know you have someone right behind you. So it's kind of fun. It's simply just to make it more fun and interesting for the participants, getting the speed right, making sure that you're holding your lines. Both Lori and Mike are excellent at this. So it looks kind of cool, and it's kind of fun. Exercise 8, the double offset serpentine, also teaching us transitions. As you can see, everything is in S turn. The mistake that we often make on this one is going straight gate to gate. Then it's really not the exercise, even if you make it around the cones. We're practicing smooth, fluid S-turn movements with good speedy, the right speed, transition speeds. As you can see, Mike's very good. Head and eyes. As soon as you're hitting that gate, you want to be hitting that gate forward, and you're looking at the next gate. You're actually looking at the gate beyond you. See that? Watch Mike's head. Makes that turn, head and eyes. Brings that bike right around. Really nice and smooth. Very little rear brake, just for speed control. It's a little inside that one. So we started that one a little bit early. That nice and wide. This is Rich's favorite exercise. He loves this. He gets a good amount of speed here. Often touching his boards down. Does a nice job of holding it. He sometimes gets a little bit wide like that time. Got a little bit beyond. You don't want to be beyond the cone, so you have to come back to the gate. Again, when you're going through this gate, you want your motorcycle to be pointed forward, moving forward. So straight on at least. So he's a little bit late on that. He wants to hold it a little bit longer, so he's too far ahead of it now. Rich is good with the turns, and he's good with the lean angle, so he's going to make up for it. He's going to make it through the cones, but really wants to practice holding that longer, getting to that gate. Ideally, getting to the gate, your motorcycle is pointed to the next gate, if you can make that leap, if you can picture that. Kind of like this. Yeah, she's going across. She's heading toward the next gate. She wants to hook it so well, just like that. Beautiful. That's what you want. That one was a little close, but good head and eyes, good hold it. See how you're holding it? She's holding it, holding that S all the way, then making the transition. And I'm telling you, it makes a big difference, the transition speed. You really can whip those handlebars over. You really cover a lot of ground. It gives you time and space. Watch, the key is to hold it, hold it. Yeah, nice. Brings it around and holds it before you transition. Very natural to want to just go to the next gate, go straight to the next gate, but that's not the exercise. Proper lean angle, same. Proper throttle. Load it, keep it loaded. You want the throttle to be level and even. And you're just working with the clutch and the friction point. A little bit of rear brake if you need it.
The bike is so light, huh?
So Will, again, first time doing it. He's not getting the concept of really hold it. So you're coming back. He's kind of going toward the gate. He's so nimble on that bike. He can make all of the cones without a problem.
Yeah,
But
right.
even though it's a off-road bike, we're working on on-road skills here, so Will is getting better all the time. So he's hugging that inside cone. He really wants to hit that gate facing the next direction. Tyler's first time through. Nice job. See, though, needs to hold it longer. Needs a real S there. He kind of gets it flat. Then he makes the cones. But he's, really nice. There it is. There he brought it back. Really nice job for first timer. He's getting the hang of it. Really holding it. Beautiful. That last one was really good. Then he just forgot where he was here. It's a sharp turn in. He wants to just hold it. Be a nice, smooth transition through the gates. Yeah, he's getting it. Really good rider. When you consider the level of the skill and the slow sweep skill for the average rider, both Tyler and Will are exceptionally good. Now, Mike has been to Pooler, Georgia for the Be the Boss practice sessions a number of times. And again, he's been with us a number of times as well. He's a little late in the gate. Like he needs to hold it longer still. So it's got a theme of wheel placement here with Mike. He's just working on it. So quick to the gate there. He needed to hold that turn a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So we're going through this gate. Now he's hooking it back to the right, then making a nice S turn. Now he needs to come left hard, hold it, so he doesn't hold it. And then he hits the gate. Now he's too far forward. He'll still make it because he's good with his leaning, but not really the exercise. He needs to hold it. He's going to go straight to the gate. Yep, gotta hold it. Hold that turn. You don't want to, certainly don't want to be beyond the gates.
So we'll let him finish and then we'll all go through. So we'll let him finish and then we'll all
Rich could hold it longer as well.
And then I'll do the thing while Mike does the...
I think Rich is still working with that clutch a little bit.
Rich will like to get to go again. This is his favorite one.
Quick transitions. You want to snap those handlebars over, get that bike moving in the other direction. Think of hazard avoidance, something in the road. You want to be able to snap that bike over and get it out of the way, get an S-turn avoidance of an obstacle. That's why you practice this stuff in the parking lot, so you can have some muscle memory in the real world. So again, this is just a level up, just for some fun. We put everyone in the line. Lori got this idea when we saw a law enforcement police officer rodeo. All of those guys in the line doing that kind of thing. So it's a little bit slow motion. It looks, honestly, when you're going through it, it looks a lot faster. But watching the video, it seems a little bit slow. But still, it adds another dimension to it. When you know someone's right behind you, at least for me, I tend to want to flatten it out and go straight to the next gate. So really got to practice holding that turn, creating nice, smooth flowing S turns here. Will tries to get that cone up to no avail. Yeah, just a thing for some fun, get everyone involved. When you have 5 or 6 bikes, or 7 or 8 or 9 bikes, there's a lot of waiting around to go down, up and back on the double offset, so a little bit of fun.
That's so fun!
All right, here's Fred leading the way. This particular practice session, I didn't take any solos because everyone was having fun with the group double offset serpentine, so we went. This particular one, I was a little mushy. I was a little slow and going straight to the gate. I got a little weirded out with Rich right behind me. Really good practice. It's not really about speed. I tend to want to move that faster a little bit. I want my transitions to be faster, so we're working on that constantly. Everything should be flowing. It's nice, smooth movements. That's the key. Small, smooth movements. Small inputs, as Robert says. Okay, the last exercise of the day, the abominable snowman. This is a series of circles. There are 4 circles that bring us up to the top of the snowman, which is an 18-foot circle. I'll tell you, the 18-foot circle is a lot different than an 18-foot U-turn. At least it is for me. I think it is for most people. But here's Mike. Mike is having a real estate problem. His whole thing is wheel placement. It's easy enough to do. He's got a fixed fairing, so it's maybe a little bit harder for him to see where his front tire is exactly. But you need to be right on those cones if you want to make that 18. I think it's 27, 25, 22, and 18. So sometimes we'll go around the 20, 27, and 25 a couple of times just to kind of get the feel of it, get a warm up. Really want to use all the real estate. If anyone's doing this on their own, Rich is cutting that a little early, so you really just want to work on your wheel placement, getting it close to those cones, those markers, whatever marker is you're using. And as Robert says, hug them. Placement, hug them, commit. So you want to place them and hug the cones and commit. Rich is also has a placement issue, a challenge around placement. As you can see right there, he's given up probably 12 inches on that side, and it's 18, man. So there's not a lot of room to give. So he's about 12 inches far on the outside of that. So Rich is still working with that. Will's first time through the Snowman. This is nothing for a bike like that. Really, really nimble, easily turnable. I couldn't even guess what that bike weighs. A few 100 pounds. No problem bringing that around. See, what happened right there, though, is he did let off the clutch. He let the power out of the bike, and it came down on him like that. Even a bike that nimble, there's a lot to work on. And the rules are always the same. So we're doing a nice job of hugging the cones, really using all of the real estate, a little inside those.
Smooth, smooth.
See, nice placement. Look at that placement. You get that placement right on the front, and odds are, as long as you got the right speed and lean, you'll make it through. So she cut that one early. She just nipped the top of that.
God, I mean, it looked just beautiful.
I hit that last one. I tried.
Here's Tyler's first time. Now the Pan America is called an adventure bike, so it does have the ability to ride off-road. Also a highly proficient on-road long-distance touring bike. Very popular bike. Meaning it can handle quite well in these situations. It does sit a little bit higher, however, so you really got to make sure that you have the power switched on, so to speak. So you want to preload it, get into that right clutch friction point, and this is something that Tyler's still working on. So he's just not, doesn't have it idled up enough.
There you go.
Get out of here.
Did it.
What?
He does an excellent job. I mean, first time through, he actually stands on the pegs and
like,
does
I'm
the
standing
18,
up,
does the
it's
top
easier.
of the Snowman. If he continues to come and practice, he will
Tyler
drill these
drilling it
exercises
out
out
first
very, very
try.
well in short order.
That's awesome.
Mike's giving it another run. See, again, you got to use all that real estate. Cut it way early. Cut it super short. So he gave away 3 feet there, but yeah, and he gave away early here. So you can see how that works. It's not magic. It's physics. Just got to get that wheel placement right. You got to hug him and commit. It's got to, so he's, yeah, he has given away, I don't know, 16 inches, something like that, on the beginning of this.
Use all your space.
He'll get it. No doubt in my mind, he'll get it. Yeah, just super early. Forget about it. No shot, Mike. Rich attempt number 2. Early. Yep. He always turns that early and he ends up on the far side. Smooth all the way through. Rich is excellent at that. Just a little change in that front tire placement in the first quarter of that 18 foot and he'd have it. Yep, Will's working
There
on
you go.
using all the real estate. Got stuck in a little bit.
Go in again. There you go. You got it. That's fun.
Okay, here's Fred taking his turn. Fred getting some reps. I'm always working on trying to make it smoother. Better control of the rear brake for speed, better clutch friction point, keeping the throttle pretty balanced. Trying to get that right. Good placement, got outside just a little bit, hitting those cones. This particular practice session, I struggled with the 18. I took a number of runs at it. Good placement in the front. I just was not leaning it enough at the end to get that done. Right there. I gotta just throw it over.
That was good.
I'm trying the other way. In a little bit early, but pretty good. Just didn't get it turned at the top. So it's all practice. It gets frustrating when I'm there and can't quite make it through it. I have since figured out the 18 in both directions. This was a particular struggle this day. A little early there, just on the top of the cones. Practice, practice, practice. Lori's final attempt for the day to get a clean run through the top and the bottom of the Snowman. Always no problem, always something to practice on the first 3 as they get smaller. Getting into the last one, always the most challenging. She's a little wide in that one. You see she ran over those last 3 or 4 cones. Just trying to use all that real estate. Sometimes you overshoot it just a little bit. A little early on the wheel placement here, so she runs a little wide in the end. You see how that works? Wheel placement is everything. That one's a little early as well. She really skipped that one down a little bit. Now she's going to try a different direction. Everyone's got a strong side, as I said. So Lori starts a little wide there, hits those first few cones, comes out of it. It's repetitions like anything else. Getting it down, repeating.
Yes.
There, she gets it clean. Nice job. It's learning what didn't happen or what needed to happen and employing that, getting the feel of it. Then once you get the feel of it, you just repeat until it becomes habit. These are useful skills on the road.
Well, so nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'll
Thanks
keep
for
it posted
coming
on our
out.
Group.
Yeah.
It's a good time out here.
Come out and practice with us. To us, we like it when people come because we want to expose it, but we're going to be here practicing anyway because we do it for ourselves, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's really, for me, it's to inspire the hesitant rider.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't be hesitant and scared of your bike if you actually practice. Having these skills makes it easy. You know, you got uphill hairpin turns and you never know what you're going to come across.
Exactly.
And so when you're prepared, it makes the ride so much more enjoyable. And
Yeah.
that's why I try to encourage people to come out and practice because it's not as scary as you might think. It's not as hard to learn these drills if you practice them all the time.
And it's better to practice in a easy,
Yeah.
controlled environment.
Yeah.
Because when you're out there and you have to be, you know, you got traffic.
You got
and-
cars, you got
yeah,
Jersey barriers, you got people who aren't paying attention.
So
And you know, I say this all the time, if you don't know what you're doing, the cars aren't going to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's not where you want to test the limits of your skill.
Yeah,
Is out there in the real world.
right.
Well, thanks for joining us for Sebastian practice session number 56. We hope you enjoyed it, got a few tips out of it. As we always say, we do this once a week, and we hope to inspire our community to simply spend some time working on slow speed operation and improve our options on the road. Thanks again.